Welcome to First Feedback, the podcast where two friends bring two things and we battle it out, just, saying how dead good they are, and then you get to vote on the Twitters of which one wins. And I'm back! Hello, Will Goldston.
Hello, Liz McCurry, how are you?
You missed me.
Yeah, of course, always.
Good. It's nice to be back. Feels like forever, actually.
It does.
What happened when I was away?
Well, I mean, it's yet to be decided because the vote hasn't actually closed at the time of recording this current episode, but I have a strong feeling that my Lemmings 2 is going to win.
Over Halos?
I don't know. It's possible.
Yes, I'm very impressed by this poll. I was also very impressed by Aurora's story about rocking up
to Bungie.
Yeah.
And then just crying throughout her visit. He's a Master Chief, I love him. And I also she seemed to say.
Yeah. And I loved the northern accent. I thought it was quite authentic.
Yeah, he could barely tell you were gone.
I know. Really. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I think dead good has become the key catchphrase of this podcast.
Dead good.
Yeah. So for those of you unfamiliar, you've dived in at a random episode. Welcome to Fierce Feedback. This is a show where Liz and I surprise each other every week, except when she fucks off somewhere and we get in a guest host. But we have a game each, and we're going to tell each other why we think our game's the best.
And I've got a quiz this week.
And Liz has been hyping all week via text. I've got a quiz. It's great. It's really been making me laugh and all of this kind of stuff. So
it makes me laugh, so that's what's important.
I'm very excited by this quiz. But as you pointed out before we hit record, it's my turn to go first?
Yes.
I believe?
Yes.
Well, Liz, I can tell you that we might as well stop recording. You might as well shoot off because I think I've got it in the bag this week.
Oh, what? Yeah. I thought you were going to say we'd done something wrong and we haven't pressed record or something.
No, we have pressed record. And I'm going to lean over to my magical bag where I keep my game and or games. And I'm going to hide them and then unveil them to you with my notes.
Worried. You have been pulling out some classics.
Liz, I present to you this week.
No! I love this game.
From 1992, Streets of Rage 2.
Oh, I was just talking about this the other day. About how amazing it is. Please, Will, tell me more.
Well, I've brought Liz Streets of Rage 1 and 2, just to kind of back it up. The reason I brought 1 as well, for context, of course, but also because...
Because of the complex story.
Yeah. I'm going to dive into the lore, don't worry about it. But the first game is the only one I've got the manual for, and you love a manual.
I love a manual.
So I'm going to pass these over to you to enjoy.
Thank you. Oh, this is really nice. This is like a trip down memory lane.
So let's talk about Streets of Rage. If you're not familiar with Streets of Rage 2, which is the game that I'm putting forward, I'm going to talk about both. But there were 3 original games. There's a 4th one in production at the moment, and I'll talk about that in a little while.
I didn't know that.
I'm very excited about that. But Streets of Rage 2 was from 1992. The series is also known as Bare Knuckle in Japan, and it was developed by quite a big team of different parts of Sega and other entities. And I've been looking around the internet to try and find out who was the developer, but it seems there were just quite a lot of different groups involved. I've listed Ancient Company, M&M Software, Sega AM1, Shout Design Works, and another company called Overworks, who were responsible for Quackshot, Shinobi Legends, Skies of Arcadia.
Skies of Arcadia!
Yeah,
great game.
So, if you're not familiar, Streets of Rage is kind of the quintessential side-scrolling beat-em-up. They basically made this genre, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, it's great.
You had things before that like...
Alien Storm.
Yeah, I mean, you could trace this stuff back to, I guess, Double Dragon, and before that, Kung Fu and games like that. But Streets of Rage, and especially Streets of Rage 2, which is why it's the game I'm putting forward, is for me, the pinnacle of side-scrolling beat-em-ups. It's just...
I've got so many good memories.
The absolute best. So typically, side-scrolling beat-em-up, you are scrolling from left to right. Enemies are coming in waves. You're knocking the crap out of them, and you're getting towards a boss at the end. Now, Streets of Rage 1 was kind of like that. And in Streets of Rage 1, you could play as Adam, Axel, or Blaze.
Yeah, I've just been reading their bios. Do you know, I love a good beat-em-up bio.
You've got bios in there.
So, right, what I love most about any sort of fighting game, and I've touched on this before with E. Honda's Blood Type.
You have. Which I believe you got wrong.
Well, That's the Street Fighter wiki page's fault, not mine.
Liz is outraged.
So I quite enjoy how it's always like what they like, what their blood type is.
Hobbies.
Their hobbies.
Yeah.
So,
a keen philatelist. E. Honda's blood type is B.
well, Adam Hunter,
Yeah.
you know, you wouldn't think it, but he likes bonsai. That's his hobby.
Okay.
And Blaze, they've all got great names as well. She like her hobbies.
Blaze.
Her hobbies is a lambada.
Oh. Okay.
I
Do you
remember.
think they just like looked up dances from the West?
Love it.
Lambada.
The lambada. I remember, is it still Blaze in Streets of Rage 2? Because I always remember her like denim crop top.
Yeah.
I always chose her.
But hold on a minute. You haven't told us the Axel bio. He's the other main character. Well, he's kind of like the key character.
So Axel's an ex-cop. He's 22. He looks like he had a rough paper round.
Yeah.
He's 22. And his hobby is video games. Who'd have thought? And his ability is martial arts. Did that tickle you?
Yeah. The great thing about Axel, so Axel and Blaze, like this male and female counterparts, are throughout all the main 3 games, and they're going to be in the 4th game.
Cool.
And the thing that I looked up and found out was that the 3 characters of the first game, Adam, Axel, Blaze, are all meant to be ex-cops. The idea was that they just quit the Metropolitan Police Force because it's too corrupt. It's been corrupted by Mr. X, who's the main bad guy. Very inventive naming. But yeah, so the funny thing about that is that it's one of those things where, because it's so early and game box art was kind of done in concept form,
Yep.
Streets of Rage pretty much looks right. You've got Axel here on the cover. If you look up Streets of Rage, you'll see what I mean. Or check out the post on the blog. He's there. He's got blonde hair and blue jeans, and he's kicking ass. Yep. And Axel, not so much. She's not in a red outfit. She's in a kind of a karate,
like a karate
outfit.
suit, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there firearms in it?
No.
I can't remember. No, I don't think so.
Well, I'll come on to that in a minute. There's a couple. But then, the great thing about Streets of Rage 2 is, I don't know what happened to that concept artist, but I don't think they hired him for the next one.
Aww.
Because the guy who did Streets of Rage 2 box art seems to have no idea what the characters look like. Axel's now got brown hair and just looks very strange. And then so let's talk about Streets of Rage 2 characters, right? So the lore is that in Streets of Rage 1, there was a corrupt city and you were going to sort it out. You were ex-cops. And there was a special move where you'd press your special button and it would kind of scroll really far to the left. And then a police car would rock up, fire a bazooka, and it would kind of create all this trail of flames around the bit of the map you were on. And then all the enemies would get knocked over and killed.
I remember that.
So that was the kind of tie of like, oh, we're going to call our cop buddies in. It was kind of fun. In 2, in Streets of Rage 1, you'd had to then find Mr. X and beat him up, and that was get to the top of the tower. It was very much like, a newer take on Double Dragon, pretty much.
Yep.
Now, in 2, the premise is that Adam, who was the 3rd character in Streets of Rage, he's been kidnapped by Mr. X.
No.
So, his little brother, what's his name?
I remember him.
I keep thinking he's called Sammy, but that was the translated name. Oh, Skate. Yeah, Eddie Skate Hunter.
I remember.
So Skate is his little brother, and he's there with Axel and Blaze to try and rescue Adam. But also in the mix is Max, who is a wrestler friend of Adam's.
Don't remember him.
He's the big, like, bulky guy who's super slow and does the dash and all that kind of stuff. Spins around. But on the cover of Streets of Rage 2, he looks like Jason Statham on steroids. Instead of having like a shock of black hair, which is what he actually had. It just looks really wrong and weird. But I kind of love it for all of its jank.
Skates looks great on the front cover as well.
But Skate's wicked. He's having a bit of a kick. I quite like all the little references as well. On the Streets of Rage front cover, there's a guy in a Jason mask, the hockey mask. Yeah. And then there's a little on Axel's shoe, he's got the little Sega logo.
Oh, that's cool. I hadn't seen that.
Cheeky nod in there. Okay.
I like the concept art kind of box art. It's nice. It's nice.
So Mr. X was, of course, head of the crime syndicate. Now, I have a little note here just saying, remember the 80s when all we had to worry about was criminals getting better organised. But that's not important right now. So I've talked a little bit about the characters. So Axel is your kind of blonde-haired, white tee, blue jeans, stereotypical action hero. He kind of reminded me of like Swayze in Roadhouse.
Yeah.
That kind of feel.
See that vibe? He's a bit like Ken from Street Fighter as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Blaze Fielding is kind of their counterpart. She had this kind of like red top and skirt, and she did this kind of backflip kick, take out enemies on both sides. And then the other two that I mentioned, Max Thunder is the wrestler. And then Skate Hunter is this little dude with rollerblades. And my favourite bit about Skate was that you could jump on someone's back and do a piggyback attack.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You jump on their shoulders and you're just going to go and just beat the crap out of their head.
I really want to play this again now.
Yeah, I mean, I play this game start to finish probably twice a year. It's my favourite Mega Drive game of all time.
It's great.
It's just perfect. So yeah, that's the characters. A little bit about the enemies. The enemies carried on. So basically, it's kind of set on the mean streets, as it were, of an American city, kind of like a riot-filled LA kind of style. And then it's beautiful pixel art, and you're kind of scrolling around. And then the enemies, the average enemies, are kind of like street punks.
Yep.
But they're kind of in a bit of a cyberpunky kind of style as well. So it's that kind of late 80s, early 90s, neon, punk, techno kind of feel. And, I'll talk about the music in a bit, but that's kind of a high point. So they kept all of the kind of street punks from the first game as your kind of default enemies.
Yeah.
So like, biker jackets and, mohawks and stuff like that. But then into the second game, they kind of added just a bunch of really interesting other dynamic enemies. Like they had bikers on motorbikes, and you'd have to kind of like jump and kick them off the motorbikes. Yeah, and they had chains that they'd kind of whip you with.
How can I remember that? Jeez.
You need to play this again. It's so good.
I used to love it.
And then they had a lot of bosses that... In the first one, there were a lot of bosses who would just kind of appear at the end of the level, and they were there to kind of just be a slightly bigger sprite version of the smaller ones with more health.
Yeah.
But in 2, there's just way more inventiveness. Like there's... I'm trying to think of some of my favorite ones. So there was a great level with like an alien head that was in the center of the screen with a long neck. So you'd go through this forest with all these alien like eggs popping around.
Really?
And then there's this alien head that you have to just punch, and it kind of... Do you not remember this?
I don't remember that at all.
It's one of the best. And you punch it and it kind of fly to the edge of the screen. And if you were on like hard mode or something, that boss was one of the most brutal bosses.
But
it was quite early on.
Crime Syndicate was he part of?
It was kind of like, what? That's the thing. Like the bosses are just like, where did Mr. X find all of these weird baddies? So yeah, you could play on easy, normal, hard, and if you unlocked hard, you could play on Insania, which would just be like you'd never beat it. At least I couldn't anyway. But yeah, so anyway, back to the bosses. There was these aliens, and one of my favorite bosses was. Do you remember the guy with the jetpack?
No.
So there's a guy with a jetpack who looked just like...
called Jets?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I didn't note down his name. I just remember that he looked like the Rocketeer. Do you remember that film?
Yeah.
Fucking great film.
That's amazing.
And then they had a wrestler who basically looked like Macho Man Randy Savage, but with Kiss makeup.
Yes.
And he would kind of do like a flying leap attack.
Was he like one of the first ones? I remember him.
Yeah, he was quite early on. So yeah, you could just tell all the references at the time. Like I say, like Aliens, Rocketeer, WrestleMania, of course, and Kiss. All these kind of cultural things that somehow sort of found their way into the game. And I really loved that. And you can easily kind of point to some of these things. So yeah, you'd kind of scroll around, beating people up, and you get towards the end of like an act or an area, and then the boss would kind of show up, and there'd be a bunch of like smaller enemies along with him, and then you take them out. And then the great thing about Streets of Rage 2 versus 1 is that it felt like you were actually heading somewhere. Like the stages were more dynamic. Like for example, in one part you get into the back of a truck, and the truck is kind of moving along, and it's got this kind of like bob on the whole level is kind of bouncing up and down like you're in the back of the truck.
That's wicked.
There's just loads of great little animation touches like that. And like I really loved how they worked with the animation to kind of make it feel really tactile. I think that was the best thing about the game, is that when you actually make contact with an enemy, it either, I'm not sure how they did it, but it either is doubling up the frames or it's slowing the game down So it feels like you've connected and, made contact with your fist or leg or whatever.
That's cool.
So yeah, it just felt really tactile, and I loved how the game felt. And it kind of, to me, it felt like it felt as good as, Street Fighter 2, or one of those kind of like rivals at the time, or Final Fight, which was another, the kind of SNES equivalent to Streets of Rage.
Could you pick up weapons as well?
Yes, good point. Weapons. Let's talk about those. So weapons. There was a knife, a pipe. I always loved the sound of the pipe.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a really good kind of like crack when it knocked them out. But yeah, knife, pipe, and a katana. I think there was as well.
Oh, I never got that.
Yeah, that was coming out of the sky or hiding somewhere. But yeah, it's great because the power-ups were either lying in the ground, you could knock them out of someone's hand. Like there was always a guy with a knife who would kind of just walk at you holding the knife forward. And you kind of just be like, oh, I'm going to get out of the way, fine. But then there was like health power-ups. I remember being very confused by the health power-ups.
The apple.
Yeah.
And then
do you remember the other one?
Beef.
No.
Was it not?
It was a big roast chicken.
I think they might have. So in Tekken, there's something called Tekken Force.
Okay.
That is like an unlockable mode, which is like a side-scrolling kind of a la Streets of Rage, but with the Tekken characters. Mm. And the health in that is chicken. And when you pick it up, this voice just goes, chicken. So I imagine
I really thought you were going to say then, the voice goes, beef. It's been badly translated. But yeah, I remember thinking...
I love a bit of chicken.
I know, but do you want it after you've just knocked over a bin? Question 1. Question 2, who's leaving a full roast chicken in the street under a bin for later?
No, it's hungry work.
I don't think it's going to be good
punching these alien heads in forests.
But this is it. It's like you, when you played the game, you would always, like, if you found a power-up and you were, like, facing a boss, you're like, I'm going to just leave that chicken there. I don't want to pick it up now. But when my health runs out a little bit, I'll go back to the chicken and pick it up.
I think it's very nice.
It's just a bit, it's a bit weird.
No vegan options.
Not that I know of, no. No, it's a different time then, Liz, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different time. Another, one of my favourite parts of it is the music. Like, it's amazing. One of my favourite all-time game soundtracks. It was just like the perfect, like, techno soundtrack to crack heads to. That was how I felt about it. So the soundtrack was composed by Yuzo Koshiro, along with 3 tracks by Motohiro Kawashima. And yeah, it was kind of like techno or kind of like 80s kind of club music. Yeah. And it just fit obviously with the whole vibe. It was perfect. And then the sound effects were kind of like in certain places they were kind of louder. And the music was kind of using like a lot of what the Mega Drive brought with it. So like stereo and panning and things. So like even in like the first track, there's like really heavy left-right panning for some of these kind of bits of the melody. And you're kind of like, oh God, yeah, this is like that next gen music kind of feel.
Super cool.
It was great. And then, like I said, like the sound effects or the hits were like really harsh. And then I feel like they added like either, well, not like in the engine or whatever, but like there was more of a reverby, echoey sound to like when people would get knocked out, like the kind of all those noises. And so they like it was just really well mixed. And yeah, it was just awesome. Yeah, so I talked a bit about the gameplay earlier. Yeah, the feeling of progression that I was talking about was like, in the first one, you're scrolling from left to right, but in this one, like I say, you get in a truck and you go down this elevator inside a baseball field and it like leads to a lair and it's like, it just feels like you're going through this like gauntlet a lot more than just going through different places.
And is 1 and 2 the same team?
Yeah, 1 and 2 is the same team. I think some of that team dropped off for 3, but same composer, again, which is Yuzo Koshiro. But Streets of Rage 3 just never felt as good as 2.
I don't think I ever played it, you know?
It had, so in the same way that in 1 and 2, you have these characters that are new and then Axel and Blaze stay throughout all 3. In 3, there's this ninja android guy who's the additional character. And he replaces Max and Skate as like your third playable character.
Why? What happens to them?
I don't really know what the backstory is, but the backstory of the game of 3 is that Mr. X is back again.
Oh, he needs to give up.
I know. This time, it's very much like Mega Man. He's basically hired some evil other doctor to... Oh no, he's a Mr., isn't he? He's not Dr. X. It's fine. He's hired a doctor. But not those medical doctors. An evil robot
those
doctor.
Mad doctors.
Yeah, one of them mad doctors. And he's getting him to develop lots of like robot enemies and things. And it's just a
in
bit
his
like,
spare time.
right. And then you've got this playable character who's a bit of an android guy, and you're like, oh, okay. And I'm sure it probably, I should have looked this up, but
Has he
I'm
got
sure
a
it probably
hat?
turns out there's no hat, no. No, he's kind of like an old, wise, kind of like kung fu dude, but he's also got like a robot arm or something like that. If I remember
Okay.
right. But it
That
just
sounds cool.
didn't feel as good to play. And it was all just about like the pace of the game, like the speed that it ran at, and obviously the music and the graphics and everything. But it didn't have as much detail in the pixel art, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
And it just didn't feel quite as good to play. But two is the absolute shiznits.
Did Blaze wear this double denim get up in the game? Because I swear I remember it.
So Blaze wore, if you look at the screenshots on this, she had, well, on two actually, she had like a short red top and then a short red skirt and then
like the orange leggings.
some kind of little boot things going on.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She was badass.
Choose one of 4 warriors and slam your enemies to the concrete with dazzling martial arts moves. Bash them with pipes or slash them with knives and ninja weapons.
Yeah.
Get ready for the hottest street combat ever as once more you walk the streets of rage.
It's a true story. So yeah, so there was a bunch of things you could do. You can punch, kick, combine kicks with jumps. You had all of your weapons, but then there was grabs where you could like throw them over. Like you could press left or right and sort of jump over them and then throw the other way.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, you can kind of like headbutt and you can do a whole bunch of things like the Max does a dash attack, Blaze does like a backflip, Axel does like just one giant punch or like a storm of punches.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. If you landed that on a boss, it was great because they had more health to come off before they'd get knocked over. So you would just be kind of like pummeling them. It was really cool.
So who's developing the new one?
New one, good question. It's a couple of people. So it's Lizard, Cube and Guard Crush Games. It's being published by, and I'm not sure if this is pronounced .emu or Dotemu.
I like .emu.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, and they also got that second composer from the original game,
Oh, nice.
Motohiro Kawashima, to do the music for the new one, which is pretty cool. And it's all in this beautiful, new, sort of modernized but true to form anime style.
Oh, nice.
There's an amazing like little intro cinematic they made for a teaser trailer as well, so definitely go and check out Streets of Rage 4 trailer.
Is our robot friend in it? Or have you just seen Blaze and Axel?
I think they've only unveiled, those 2 characters. I don't know if they're going to bring back like all of the others from the other game, but yeah, I don't see why not.
That'd be a really cool like medley where they all come back.
Yeah, that would be good actually.
Streets of Rage medley. That's what it should be called.
Like a mega mix.
Mega mix, yeah.
Yeah, and another little nod that I really enjoy from 2 is that there's a thing where you enter an arcade and all of the bad guys are playing the bare knuckle arcade machine.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can go and and then they all turn around and see you and they stop playing, and then you can go on and like smash up bare knuckle and just grab gold and things out of it.
That's dead good.
It was cool.
It is
but yeah,
undoubtedly a classic and a great game.
it is.
You've
And
come with an ace today.
I had this one up my sleeve. I knew I was going to do it at some point. But yeah, Streets of Rage means a lot to me because it's always better played co-op, right?
Yeah.
Always good to play this 2-player, and I just have so many good memories of playing this. I played it a little bit as a kid, but I played it a lot more when I was older and got a Mega Drive when I was like, I'm going to have a retrospective, because I grew up playing PC.
Yeah.
Bought a bunch of like old consoles when I was at uni, so around like sort of 2002 kind of time.
Yeah.
Bought a Mega Drive, got Streets of Rage 2, and we just like sessioned it so many times. And then I've done it again, like making friends with my job now.
Yeah.
With my mate James, we'll just play it whenever we
I bet
go on
he
trips.
loves that. If it's
He
James, I'm thinking.
loves a bit of Streets of Rage 2.
I used to play
Yeah.
it with my cousin, and I guess I didn't really think about it much at the time, but it was actually quite nice playing as a lady.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it was good fun.
I'm trying to think of like earlier female characters,
I
but
think there was one in Golden Axe, wasn't there?
oh yeah, of course there is.
Yeah, I think there was one.
But then you had to play Golden Axe, so not great. So yeah, that's why I have brought you the Streets of Rage 2. It's a beautiful game. It's beautiful in art, in animation, in sound, in music,
In memories.
in memories, in every way. Not in memories because there was no save ability
God,
of this
yeah.
cartridge, but in my
How
memories,
did we survive?
I don't know.
And if I remember, I know it's not called friendly fire, but you could beat the shit out of each other, couldn't you?
Yeah, I can't remember.
'Cause my cousin
I
used to
think
do
you
it
can
all the
hit,
time.
hit
Yeah.
the other character.
Mhm.
And there's also, I'm pretty sure there's also a mode which you can basically use for practice, which is like a versus mode.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's weird. But we have got to the end of my telling of Streets of Rage, and you failed to guess my false feedback.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I've prepared mine.
Oh, no.
I will. I'll slot it in.
You can have a little think.
I think it's the Robot Man.
No.
Oh.
No. Robot Man's real.
I
don't think you're going to get it.
What
It's
is it?
very subtle.
What?
It was when I told you the difficulty ratings, I told you that the last one was called Insania, which keen-eyed people will know is a Peter Andre song. I think it's just called Insane or something like that. No, he's not an unlockable character.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
I don't think he was actually famous outside the UK.
I think he likes dancing as well. What was it? That form of dancing that Blaze likes.
Oh, Lombardo.
Lombardo.
He does like a little bit of Lombardo, yeah.
As well.
He would have been great.
Well, my game's very similar.
Oh, no. You've brought Streets of Rage 3. We're completing the set. But not.
But not.
So, Liz, you gave me what you think is a clue to this.
Yeah.
On Twitter the other week. And you said to me something about, I hope you like games with moles with scarves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that? And I can only think there's some really old game, like something on like Spectrum or something.
Like Wind in the Willows.
No, but there's something in my head that's like an image of like, kind of like Spy versus Spy era of like Commodore games. Something with a mole in, but I'm like, I can't think what it is.
Well.
Pause for effect.
Well, are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to pull it out of this envelope that I've stolen. I'm really excited about this.
Just show me the damn game.
It's one of my favourite games. I'm really excited to talk
Streets
about
of Rage 2, it should definitely win, but go on.
I'm bringing you
the
2002 GameCube.
Oh.
Bloody Raw Primal Fury.
Oh. I could never have guessed. What's it got to do with moles?
Oh, just you wait.
Okay.
Do you know that you're familiar with Bloody Raw?
Not really. I remember I remember the name. I just don't really know what it is.
It was an arcade game before. So it's like a 3D fighter, a la like Tekken or Soul Calibur, that kind of thing.
Right.
With the added mechanic that you can turn into an animal.
So it's like Animorphs.
No, it's like Bloody Raw.
Okay.
But in
it's like itself.
It's Animorphs, that like ITV show.
It is, kids that can turn into animals.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Right.
And so it was an arcade game originally, and it was called Beasterizer. So I don't know.
Wow, I think Bloody Raw's a better title than Beasterizer.
Bloody Raw's brilliant. So Primal Fury, but it was known in Japan as Bloody Raw Extreme. So yeah, so as I said, it's like 3D fighter, like a la Tekken. So you've got your kicks, your punches, your blocks, your throws, that kind of thing. But then the added thing in this is that as you take damage or you give damage, you build up your like beast gauge.
Yep. Yep.
And then once it's kind of full, I think it says something like beast change, like it says it above the bar. And then you can turn into your respective beast.
I mean, you would say beast mode these days, right?
Beast mode.
Beast mode engage.
Beast mode engage. And so like while you're in beast mode, you have a new move set, which I just think is super cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That kind of your character has two move sets depending on what species you are.
What kind of furry you are.
And you deal more damage. And then the other thing is that you can like do this short burst of, I forgot what the mode's called. It's like Super Beast or something. Right. Hyper Beast, that's it. Sounds even better. Where you can like go up an extra level and be even more powerful beast mode for like a short amount of time. Yeah. So then once your beast mode's gone back down to 0, you've turned back into a human and you like carry on. Right. And the other thing that's cool as well is that you can be backed into a corner and your opponent's just like pummeling you to death. But then when you engage beast mode, it's just like a blast. So it blows them backwards.
Nice.
So you've got like the advantage straight from the off.
That's a good mechanic.
Just super great. And I was like, beat 'em ups are probably my second favourite genre.
After horror.
After horror. I used to play like Tekken 3. Like nobody can beat me at Tekken.
Especially 3, I've heard.
Especially 3. And like I remember being, I think I've mentioned it before on the cast, being at Eurogamer one year, EGX, and I think it was like, it'd been Tekken 5 that was coming out, and Winner Stays On, and I was there for ages. So then when I bought it and played it online, I took it back because I just kept beating everyone. I am so good at beat 'em up games, can I just say?
Wait, let's run that through that anecdote again.
Yeah.
You bought it online.
I bought the game and then played online.
Got it.
Yeah, versus
And it
mode.
was so disappointing because everyone else was so much worse than you. You were
it
like,
back.
I'm out.
Yeah.
That's the best story ever.
Hurangor, Anna, you've got no hope. Bob Hope, not a chance.
Got it.
So Bloody Raw, not as good as that.
Why did you bring that?
Pretty good at it. I'm saving it. So, 2002 on the GameCube. It was later ported to the Xbox.
So Liz has been holding this up in one
I'm
arm for some time now.
Because,
am I allowed to look at it?
No,
All right.
you're not. Because the reason I'm holding it at a distance like this is because if you open it and look at the manual, which is a fantastic manual, you will win the quiz. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fine.
So would you like me to carry on and tell you all the things about it, or do you want to do the quiz first?
No, I don't. Let's. Oh, will the information you're about to regale me with
No.
help me in the quiz?
No.
Okay, well, tell me first.
So, like I said, it was known as Bloody Raw Extreme in Japan. I'm going to read the back of the box like I usually do. So,
to blurb.
The tagline is "Fight like an animal," which I really like.
I mean, that's why it's called Primal Furry, presumably.
I just love it. It's such a good idea. And you know, Konami have the rights to this. Konami, if you can hear me through the radio waves.
Konami, are you receiving?
Please do a new Bloody Raw or a remake. Please, because you'll make me really happy. Probably only me, but me.
That's not a good way to prove that there's an audience for Bloody Raw.
There's definitely an audience for Bloody Raw.
This is your platform, Liz. Tell us why it's great.
Right, so I'm going to read the back of the box, Fight Like an Animal. So wage an all-out assault as one of 16 fighters. 16 fighters, so you can turn into 16 animals. I think that's a selling point.
I don't even know if I can name 16 animals, Liz.
I can. Each with the ability to transform mid-flight into their alternate hyper beast life form. Oh, life form, it's one word. Fight to the finish in 2-player head-to-head and single-player modes through 10 interactive and destructible multi-level arenas. With fast and furious arena action, fighting has never looked so good or been this brutal.
Nice.
Now, I'm going to let you look at the back of the box, but you can't open it.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that a deal?
That is a deal.
So it was developed by Eighting, who are a Japanese developer, and they made Bloody Raw 1, which was for the PlayStation 1, all the way back in 1997. And they went on to also create Bloody Raw 2 in 1999, Bloody Raw 3 in 2000, and then this one, Bloody Raw Extreme, in 2002. So Bloody Raw 4 was released on the PlayStation 2 in 2003, and there have been no Bloody Raws since.
Sorry, where does this fit into the chronology?
So this is the fourth one.
Oh,
so there was
you said Extreme.
So,
this is Primal Fury.
sorry, so it's Extreme in Japan.
I can see it on the back. It says, from the creators of Bloody Raw 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and then they went on to do Bloody Raw 4 in 2003, and there's been none since. My life has been empty and devoid of Bloody Raw since
I've always wondered what that was about you. Now I know.
Yeah, I just want to turn into... I was about to say what my favourite character turned into then, but I'm not going to say.
Is that part of the quiz? What's Liz's favourite character? Great.
How well do you know your co-host? So it was published by Hudson Soft in Japan and Activision over here.
Hudson, famous for Bomberman, of course.
Yes, yep. So Konami began to start the work to acquire Hudson Soft in 2001. And it was only in 2012 that Konami absorbed Hudson Soft and then owned the rights to Bloody Raw.
Oh, okay.
So that means that they've had 7 years. So they must be developing the best Bloody Raw ever.
They've probably just been working on it, not telling anyone.
I hope so. So as you said, the creator of Bomberman worked with the series, Shinichi Nakamoto.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And he left the company in 2006. But the producer, Hiroshi Igari, who also worked on Bomberman, was the producer for this game.
Okay.
So there we go. And also Quinton Flynn is... I love my voice actors.
Quinton Flynn.
Quinton Flynn.
Quinton Flynn. Who?
He was Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, okay. Yep.
as you know, is my favourite Metal Gear.
Yes.
He's credited as voice talent in Bloody Roar, but I cannot find out which character he is. I hope it's my favourite one.
Which is?
I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you his name. His name's Baku Ryu, but I'm not going to tell you what he turns into.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's given me literally zero information, so thanks.
So the story then. Love a good story.
Yeah.
So the story of Bloody Roar, it's got so much lore and depth, and like I could go on for hours, but I won't.
Okay, summary.
Summary is, in this one, it's that, it's been a bit hard, like humans.
It's been a bit hard,
like think X-Men, where, they're like, you mutants, you...
Right, so this is the world where there are lots of people who can animorph themselves.
Yes.
Right, and just some of them have chosen to fight.
The Zoanthropes, that's the name.
Okay.
So they're kind of coexisting, humans and Zoanthropes, but not really.
Okay.
So they build a kingdom that's like protected by the Zoanthrope army.
Mm-hmm.
And so like humans, humans can come and live
Were you
there.
about to ask what are we called? what are we again?
Are we Homo sapien
Homo sapiens thropes.
Homo sapien thropes can come and live there if they're like, PC.
Sorry, what?
If they're nice to the Zoanthropes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if they're happy to coexist. But there's still a lot of trouble.
Mm.
And there's rumour that there's some experiments going on the Zoanthropes to see like how they can
got
turn.
their power.
Yeah. So they decide to hold a tournament to find the strongest Zoanthrope, and they will get a cash prize. But obviously, the evil
who's funding this
corporation behind it, I've got ulterior motives. So the kingdom of the Zoanthropes are funding it, apparently, because one of the people that you fight against is the prince of the Zoanthropes, and he's like, yeah. So, yeah.
So is there any kind of, in that lore, so obviously in Streets of Rage, there is an outcome in that you go and beat up Mr. X at the end, and he's got a big Tommy gun, and it's great, didn't mention that, but it's true. So in this one, is there anything where you actually like see that side of the lore revealed, or are they just like, no, this is what's going on in the backdrop?
It's a funny one, as with most beat-em-ups, where there's kind of like one key character, right? Which in the Bloody Roar franchises, you get Hugo. Not going to tell you what he is.
Okay.
So the main thread of the story kind of follows him. If you play as anybody else, they just get they're like little character arcade endings.
Okay.
So the cool thing about Bloody Roar Primal Fury is that the intro is an anime cutscene, which is just very beautifully done and lovely music. And so each of the characters has their own little anime ending.
Nice.
In the Xbox version, they replace them with like the animated cutscenes, so it doesn't have the anime-ness. But in Yugo's story, I think there is some kind of ending and what happens.
Conclusion,
right. That's it.
That's the word.
But the characters I played, it was really just, wanted to see what happened to the cheetah girl.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the whole aspect of a story on a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
And
it's always very tenuous, isn't it?
It's tenuous, and like we were talking about E Honda's Blood Type earlier. But I remember watching the Streets of Rage 2, that's the game I'm covering, Street Fighter 2 animated movie.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely awesome. And just thinking, this is actually, like, there's actually something going on here. And you got the feeling of like, what Ryu is going through, and like what the relationship between, Cammy and Guile and Chun-Li and all of that kind of stuff.
There's lots of things like that. Like if you care about the lore enough, you can kind of piece that all together. Like, who Yugo's allies are, and like my favorite character is his adopted brother, and like you kind of get all that if you play all the stories and like pull it together and things.
One of my favorite bits from the manual of Street Fighter 2 was that, who is it? Oh, Blanca, the green guy.
Yeah.
It says he was raised by electric eels.
No, is that real?
Yeah, that's true.
That
That's not my false
explains a lot.
feedback. Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Anyway, sorry, Bloody Roar, please continue.
So I've written here, just looking at my notes, because my notes are great. The story I've never really got straight, so here's my lies, is what I've written down.
Okay.
The Zoanthropes and humans live in peace, but there's some experiments going on, allegedly, to see how they transform. They hold a fighting tournament to see who the strongest Zoanthrope is. That's it, really. That's what I've written down.
Deep lore. Deep
Um,
lore.
So, would you like to do the quiz?
Yes, I mean, you've been hyping it up for 2 weeks.
So,
I know nothing about the game. I don't know how I'm going to do a quiz on Bloody Roar, Primal Fury.
so you know what's my favourite thing about fighting games?
Blood type.
The blood type, the bio.
Oh, the bio. Yeah, of course.
So what
The details of the characters and what they love.
bloody love it. So what I've done is I've got a photo album on my phone called The Raw You Know, which is the name of the quiz.
The Raw You Know.
I was going to call it What's the Story Bloody Rory, but I thought The Raw You Know is better.
The Raw You Know is good.
So what I want you to do is I'm going to show you a character.
Okay.
I'd like you to describe the character and their characteristics to our listeners.
Okay.
Then I would like you to tell me what you think
They turn into?
they turn into,
Okay.
what their job is.
What do you mean what their job is?
They've always got a job in the manuals.
You mean the human?
Don't! That's exactly... I tried this on my partner the other night, and he was like, what, the human job?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Okay. Why are you surprised at that reaction?
Because it makes me laugh. Because
animals don't have jobs. That's why. It's why that's a stupid question. Okay.
Yeah, the human job.
Yes.
And then...
Milkman.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'll wait till you show me.
Or either something you think they would like or dislike.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. Go on then.
I just can't believe you said exactly the same.
Great minds.
It's like, tell me the human job.
Yeah. Right.
So the first one is our main protagonist, Hugo. So could you please describe him?
Okay, so Hugo is... he just looks like an average Final Fantasy character.
He does, yeah.
He is a white male with brown hair, and he's got a long sleeve t-shirt under a short white sleeve t-shirt. Like
with fire on it.
Like a damn fool. And he's got like flames up the arms, like he's very, very rad. And then he's got shorts and boots and
like an X scar on his face. Can you see he's got the scar between his eyes?
Just zoom in on that. Oh yeah, he's got a little X on his face, and then he's got something written on his t-shirt that I can't quite make out. And he's got these gloves with like metal pads on the gloves. But yeah,
what do you think he turns into?
He's a bit lame, to be honest. I don't know what he turns into. I think... Oh, God, this is difficult.
Hazard a guess.
I'm going to go with a wolf.
And what do you think his job is?
His human job, judging by his attire, is that he's a waiter in a metal bar.
That's amazing. And what do you think he likes?
What does he like?
Yeah.
He likes Ed Hardy tattoos and Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes.
Well, I'm going to tell you that you got one right.
It's a wolf. He's a wolf, isn't he?
So he turns into a wolf.
Yes!
Still keeps his t-shirt, which is really cool. And he does a really cool
and
howl.
his gloves.
And his gloves, sorry. Yeah, wolves need gloves.
Yeah.
So he does a really cool howl when he wins as well, which sounds really cool. So he doesn't work in a metal bar. He is a boxer.
Fine.
And
should have guessed from the gloves, really, shouldn't I?
He likes wasabi.
Okay. Wasabi. I mean, that's your false feedback, because nobody likes wasabi.
So, number 2.
Okay.
This is my favourite character. Bakuryu.
Okay.
So, could you please describe to the listeners what Bakuryu looks like?
Bakuryu, again, average Final Fantasy character. He has got a long scarf, which turns into a... I think it's a scarf. He's got like a snood on.
Yeah.
And then on the back of that, there's a cape that's kind of torn, like Tetsuo, sort of ripped up. And then he's got a sleeveless top and little fingerless gloves, and then sort of MC Hammer pants that are a bit kind of baggy, and then golden boots.
Lovely golden boots.
Lovely golden boots. And what's the next question?
So what do you think he turns into?
I think he turns into an eagle.
Judging by his lovely scarf, though.
That's what I went with.
Oh, okay. What do you think his job is?
Stop trying to give me clues.
What do you think his job is?
I'm stick with eagle. His human job is...
What would an eagle's day job be?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. You're an eagle, but then you're a human. You probably want something ground-based.
Yeah.
As are most jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't work as an air host. He is, let's say, he's a builder.
Yeah. And what does he like?
What do you mean, yep? It's not true, is it? What does he like? He likes... So presumably I've gone with the wasabi on the last one. So this one... Is it all food-based?
No.
Oh. He likes classical music.
Oh, that's a good one. So he turns into a mole.
Oh, the scarf!
The mole in a scarf!
Oh, there it is. There was the clue.
I love him. He's my
Why
favourite
is he
character.
a mole? Can I have a look at this?
He's my favourite character because he's, right, much like Harang in Tekken 3, I like the characters where you can chain the combos together really quick and they can do really quick dashes. And when he's in mole mode, he's just super fast.
But how does he fight?
With his claws. He
But how
does
can he
lots
see
of
the
slashes
enemy?
attacks.
Moles are blind, aren't they?
Well, he's got a scarf on, so it must give him some power.
The old snood power.
Snood power.
Yeah.
So he's a former ninja, and he
What's his job?
is the student vice president. And he likes Japanese chess.
What? You didn't even mention there was a university involved. Mole you.
And he likes chess.
Oh.
So
fine.
we're halfway through now.
Okay.
Two more. So
Next.
this is Kronos.
Kronos. Let's see. Where's his timepiece?
So Kronos is a blonde, tanned man dressed in kind of like bright yellow overalls.
Yeah, it's like he's gotten a yellow trench coat and cut the arms off it.
Yeah.
And then cut it a little bit short to make himself look taller.
He's just trendy.
The old Leo Sayer trick. And then he's got the boots from Portal 2. That's interesting. Little white sort of techno boots with a little thing coming off them.
He's ahead of his time.
Yeah. And he looks like he'd be good in all weathers, which is good.
He's prepared, which is what you want
He
in a
is. I
fighting
admire that
tournament.
about him. What's his name?
Kronos.
Kronos. He doesn't have a watch on, which I think is a bit weird given, but he does turn into, let me think, what could he turn into? Kronos. I'm trying to think of an animal that's related to time, but I don't think that I can do that, Liz. So I'm going to say that he turns into an otter.
That's a great guess. What do you think his day job is? His human job?
I think he's a lumberjack.
And what do you think he likes?
I think he likes 90s sitcom Home Improvement with Tim Allen.
Who doesn't? So Kronos turns into a penguin.
Why?
Still complete with trench
Still
coat.
got the jacket on, same size. The legs have just shrunk in to fit.
Yeah.
The jacket now reaches
That's
the
why
ankle.
he cut it a bit shorter. You need
Perfect.
to
He was
think
just like,
about
no, I don't
these.
want to drag this around. A penguin.
But then in his like hyper form, he turns into a phoenix.
Oh. I mean,
He's the only one that's
I
got
would-
another form as well.
I was going to say I would go direct. I would
Well,
skip penguin.
He's quite fun playing as a penguin, can I just
Okay.
say? You know,
Yeah.
just kind of like rolls about and makes penguin noises. It's quite good.
What are penguin noises like, Liz?
Like that. The other reason I like Bakuryu the mole as well is that this makes me sound really weird, but when he takes damage as a mole, he makes really cute noises. So it makes me like not.
Not want to get hurt?
Yeah.
So made you a better player?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Impressive.
love him. So he is the prince of the kingdom of the Zoanthropes, and he enjoys mind games.
Well, I was basically right.
Last one.
Okay.
So this is Jenny.
Oh, hi, Jenny. So Jenny is decked out in...
Very elaborate pink dress.
Yeah, kind of it's like the kind of thing you would see on like Project Runway when someone's about to get booted off.
Yeah, yeah,
Fucking
it
up.
is. It really is.
So they've basically taken a pink trench coat, they've cut a big V into cleavage, they've cut the arms off and then sort of peeled them back like two big flaps that are kind of like
What
pointy
could flaps
triangles.
be, though? What could those flaps be?
I'll come on to that in a minute, Liz. And then she's got like garters and then long thigh length boots.
Perfect for fighting.
Perfect for the old fights. And then a short blonde bob.
That's kept very nice, you know. Minimum effort, keep
And
it nice.
a little necklace thing going on.
She's a classy woman.
So
What do you think she turns into?
I think she turns into a wasp.
Oh, that's such a good guess.
What's the other questions?
What's her job?
Her job is being a wasp. Her job
Making
is...
Oh, no, that's bees.
Yeah.
We're talking about human job.
Yeah, the old human jobs, yeah. She is a lollipop lady.
Well, you wouldn't miss her with her shoulder pads.
Yeah.
And what does she like?
She likes nothing more than to offer local teens driving lessons.
Perfect. So Jenny is a bat.
Okay.
So it's close.
Yeah.
Wasp's good. I think there's only like one insect in the whole thing. He turns into like a big beetle called Stun. So Jenny is a model. So yeah, Project Runway was good. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That's 1 point in the whole quiz.
And she likes red wine after a hot shower. Weirdly specific.
So you warmed up.
And have some hot wine. Wine. Room temperature wine after a hot shower.
I would want a chilled rosé after a hot shower. I don't know about you.
But you're not a bat, are you?
I'm not. You're right. That's where I've gone wrong.
So, I hope you enjoyed the roar, I had a lot of fun.
The roar,
So,
Thanks.
yeah. So...
I guessed like an animal.
Yeah. I just can't believe that my partner said exactly the same thing, like, what, the human job?
I don't know. It's just the first thing that came to mind. I was like, wait, what do you mean? But animals might have, like you said, bees have jobs.
Bees have jobs.
Yeah. Probably the most industrious of the animals.
Yeah. And he thought that Bakuvu might work in an office, which made me laugh.
That makes sense.
So, yeah. So, just a few little factoids. Bloody Roar does have a big kind of cult following.
Says you.
I love it so much. Do you know when... So this was the first Bloody Roar I played.
Oh, okay.
And just...
So you weren't already a fan?
No.
Okay.
This was the first Bloody Roar I played, and I was a bit late to the party. I think I only played it in like 2005, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And I absolutely loved it and was like, how have I not played this before? You can open the manual now. Yes. Look at the beautiful manual and see all the animals that are in there. Just didn't want you getting any spoilers.
And the tiny GameCube disc. Also, what's the Bloody Roar game disc doing in this one, Liz?
I know, I haven't brought my GameCube down with me, so this is the only GameCube game I have down here with me. Oh, apart from Resi 4. But...
I mean, fans of the show will know that what I'm referring to is that there's usually the wrong game inside the box. But yeah, Liz is bucking the trend by including the actual game disc.
So this was probably actually when I'd got cocky and just was too good at Tekken and thought I need a new challenge.
Yeah.
I'd like done Tekken, Dead or Alive, I was like, fighting games, whatever.
Next, please.
And then I was like, how have I never played this before? Just, there's something that taps into my childish desires to just turn into an animal.
Yeah.
And then just fight like an animal. Like there's a girl who turns into like a half cat. So she's like
in the game
little... Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So she's like a cute little half cat thing. And
Wait, what do you mean half cat? So you mean like cat dog? No?
No. Like she's still human. She's just like got cat features.
Oh, like the trailer for Cats, which is scaring everybody.
Exactly like the trailer for Cats.
Ooh.
And so her outfit, she's like quite a small petite girl, and she's got really long sleeves on her jacket, and you're like, that's a bit weird. But when she turns into a cat, she has really big paws, so they fill the sleeves out. There's a lot of storytelling in the clothing of the humans.
There's a lot of storytelling in this manual.
There's a lot. It's a great manual. Yeah. Love it. So, as I was saying, I'll finish the story and get on to the facts. Sorry. Got a bit excited.
Sorry.
So yeah, I was like, I need a new challenge. Absolutely loved it. Finished it with all the characters. Finished it 1,000,000 times, and then went straight onto Bloody Roar 4 on the PlayStation, and then haven't had a Bloody Roar fix since. Just quite sad about it. So Bloody Roar Extreme or Primal Fury was good for the fans in that prior to its release, Hudson Soft the developers did a poll online on the Bloody Roar website that was like, if you could have any animals to turn into, what would it be? And they compiled a top 10, and like 90% of the top 10 were in the next two games. Yeah. Cool. So the penguin is in here, and the elephant is in here, and then like the subsequent game, there's a dragon.
Nice.
So they like listen to the fans and put in a lot of...
But no wasp.
Cool. I'm afraid that there's no wasp. There's just Stun the insect.
The most vicious of all the creatures. They probably just couldn't figure out how to balance it.
So Bloody Roar was also adapted into a manga that was published in Shonen Jump, but the characters in it were different to that of the game.
Yes.
So the artiste, Maruyama Tomowa... No, I'm really bad at names. I'm so sorry, whoever I offend. Maruyama Tomowa did their interpretation of the characters. So this actually has a wolf again, but called Fang, and a rabbit girl named Mashiro. So yeah, so there was like a manga adaptation.
Yeah, I forgot to mention there was actually a Streets of Rage comic
Really?
inside of Sonic the comic. If you
Really?
ever remember Sonic the comic from...
I do remember Sonic the comic.
Yeah.
And do you remember the Italian Eurodance group, Eiffel 65? I Am Blue.
Terrible Blue fame.
So they did a song in 2000 called My Console that featured...
I'm just shocked that they did another song.
Well, it featured bloody well.
Oh, okay.
So on my reasons why I like it, I've just put I love fighting games. They're
Good list.
probably my second favourite genre after horror. And Bloody Road, as I've already corrected, is just something a little different.
Bloody Road.
It has nice anime intros and ending videos for each fighter. And it's just, if you like the genre of a fighting game and you just want something a little bit different, a little bit more of a challenge just to spice it up, like don't look in the manual and see what people turn into. Just pick a player that you think looks good and then just hit their beast bar and see what happens. And it's just such a delight. Fight like an animal.
I will.
Yeah.
I've failed to guess your false feedback.
Because I forgot to do it, innit?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect record.
I was actually gonna say someone turned into a great white, but that was like
you can't just throw there's a shark character into every
I don't think
game.
there's any fish in it.
No? Oh.
No.
So Liz.
Yeah.
As is customary, we always end our episodes by talking to Transformer.
We do.
And this is no different.
Yay!
So I'm going to go first, as I did go first.
Streets of Rage 2 is...
So, Talk to Transformer is a modern neural network that completes your text. And...
Is it the bio for the game, or is
This is the shortest Talk Transformer I've ever seen.
Really?
And it says, Streets of Rage 2 is only available while you have the Brawler rank equipped.
Is that all it says?
That's all it's got to say about Streets of Rage 2. Fine, Talk to Transformer, screw you.
That's amazing.
We're going straight to Bloody Raw.
Primal Fury.
Primal. I nearly wrote Primark Fury. Primal Fury.
I've definitely had that.
Is.
Love Primark, me.
Okay.
Oh my.
I'm passing the laptop over to Liz for a reading. It's more than one sentence this time, which is good.
It's an essay.
Oh no.
Here
Go for it.
Okay. Bloody Raw Primal Fury is too strong or powerful. It could be used as a spell-like ability to increase a creature's natural attack bonus or damage dice with his own attacks. Gusty, a wormkin.
Sorry, what? Gusty.
A wormkin is skilled at stealth and will attempt to hide from danger. If not properly disguised, he can look as though he are in some way dangerous. Hunting a wormkin. Wait a minute. Hunting, and then it's got X in brackets, which I'm thinking is like hunting example.
Okay.
A wormkin can use his keen senses to track or track down prey. He will seek out animals that flee quickly on perceiving danger or animals fleeing from enemies that have a chance of killing him or his kin. Tremor example. A wild wormkin is capable of shifting into different forms when it gets excited.
As opposed to those domesticated wormkins.
Yeah. His movements become stiff and unnerving, and many tremors can turn the creature's flesh into a sickly yellow-orange. Mountain example.
What is this?
Wild worms move about in flat slopes of the mountain in search of food. Rock example. Worms can climb over boulders and slabs and gain footholds along the way. They often climb on large crags or rock faces, but they also are quite capable of scaling thin fallen trees, boulders, and even roofs.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Adam King.
Does that ring any bells from any of the games?
No, I don't know what a wormkin is.
It's just made up a wormkin.
I don't know what a wormkin is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We're not sure of the source material that it's used to form this.
So now
tail.
that you know that Jenny's a bat, can you see that on the front cover? That she might be turned into a bat?
Not really, no.
No.
Well, Liz, I think it looks like a great game. I'm not sure it's Streets of Rage 2 level. I think the audience is going to agree with me. But it's not up to me. It's up to you, the listener, to decide.
Look at that. You're a rabbit and you can just beat a military man.
Thanks for helping with the outro, Liz.
Sorry. I was still looking at the box.
So if you two would like to vote, I said you two, as if like there's
just two
listeners. There's at least four. If you four would like to vote, please go to @FierceFeedback on Twitter.
Yep.
And let us know. which one you think is the best.
Yes, please do. And then you can also find us on Instagram. I'm going to put the pictures up from the quiz today as well, so you can also...
You also guess along.
You can also guess along. And if you've got any fond memories or you just want to correct us on anything we've said, you can email us at fiercefeedback@gmail.com.
And we often don't plug our website, fiercefeedback.fun.
Yeah.
On which you can see all of our photos and different things, and you can see the winners and all of that as well.
Yeah. So we're 3-3 at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
So this is going to be...
Are we saying that the one where it was me versus Aurora from last week doesn't count?
Oh, maybe it should actually, yeah.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have had a chance to win. Oh, unless you're going to take her point if she wins.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, deal? We're going to shake on it?
We're going to shake on it now.
Shook on it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's it.
Fight like an animal. Thanks for listening. Vote for Bloody Raw. It's dead good.
I don't have a catchphrase for Streets of Rage.
And
Streets of Rage, fight like one of 4 characters.
ex-cops.
Yeah.
So my friend Jamie,
Okay.
he used to do a joke that I'd ask him how his knees were, and he'd go, "Oh, the bloody raw," and I'd be like, "Oh, but what about your feet?" And he'd be like, "They're bloody raw too."
Bye, everyone.
Bye.